Today we'll be talking about Death Knell, the first starting zone for the undead Forsaken of the Horde, and the intriguing yet kind of humorous quests that come along with it. Now, Death Knell is a Forsaken encampment located in the western region of Tirisfal Glades. What was once a gravesite for the fallen heroes of the Alliance during the Second and Third War is now a recruitment camp for new undead soldiers of the Forsaken, under the command of Sylvanas Windrunner of the Horde. And upon starting your new adventure, you find that you're brought back to life in your former body by the Valkyr Agatha. You are surrounded by many other undead soldiers. Upon exploring further, you find that some may not be as willing to see the light of day again as you are, and you immediately see more death before your very eyes. Fresh out of the grave is the very first quest that you will receive, explaining that you have been freed from death's grip by the grace of the Dark Lady Sylvanas Windrunner. You are instructed to speak with Undertaker Mordeaux, who is in the graveyard, for more information. Upon seeing you, he comments that you've held up better than most, and gives you your first assignment, to gather some materials below the Shadow Grave. He directs another newly risen undead soldier to be your companion throughout your training, named Darnell. He will accompany you on some of your special assignments around Death Knell. And with that, you're off! Head down to the grave to gather some thick embalming fluid and corpse stitching twine to aid the Undertaker in reconstructing corpses that didn't make it to new life as well as you did. Darnell will think that he found something in the corner, but he's just an idiot. Look in the other corner, and you'll find the fluid and the twine on the table, located directly around, and something else looking around at you. Abomination head? I don't know what's going on around here, but you got your materials, so you have to take it back to Undertaker Mordeaux to finish your first quest. Mordeaux will thank you and feels confident enough to give you your next quest. He explains that when Agatha the Valkyr resurrects the undead, they all have free will. However, some have lesser souls and run off in fear and confusion. This usually leads to them becoming violent, and he asks you to destroy 6 of them to prove your worth and stop them from rampaging throughout Death Knell. Once you have put the first blood on your daggers as an undead, return to Mordeaux for a cloak, who mentions it's not much, but he does appreciate your aid and the understanding. Mordeaux will then direct you to continue your new life with Caretaker Case, who will have a more important assignment for you on your journey. Case explains that he doesn't care what you were before in death, he just needs able-bodied trainees in the new ranks. He sends you to speak with 3 newly risen undead who are having a hard time coping with the afterlife. Track them down in the graveyard where you started. Marshal Redpath will be your first interaction, who is insistent he isn't a monster and threatens to kill you if you touch him. He'll explain that he has free will, and upon hearing this he runs off like a ninny. Valred Moray will be your next target. Speaking with him reminds him that he is in fact dead, and has a new master to serve if he's willing. He gets a little hesitant about having a new hand sewed onto him, but quickly gets over it and reports to Undertaker Mordeaux. Lillian Voss is the final undead you speak with, who, like Marshal Redpath, calls you an abomination and simply runs off to try to find her father. After you speak with all 3 of the undead and complete your quest, return to Caretaker Case, who will see that you're dependable enough to head down to Death Knell and enlist into the troop under Deathguard Saltane's command. Darnell appears and is told to accompany you into the village below. On your arrival, he comments how you look like the most promising soldier he's seen all day. Your first orders with him will be to recruit other bodies and join the Forsaken ranks. The holdouts' main opposition, the Scarlet Crusade, roam Tirisfal Glades, engaging in any battles they see with any undead. Their bodies litter Death Knell, and Saltane would like you to collect corpses for him. This happens to be the perfect tag team quest, as Darnell is quite the beefy fellow, and just manhandles 6 corpses and carries them back to Saltane for collection. Saltane then compliments you, saying you aren't completely useless, and rewards you with yet another cloak. He explains that he's only a Death Guard and doesn't have very many tasks for newcomers, but sends you to find Shadow Priest Sarvis inside the local chapel to help you get back on your feet. So, head inside and speak with Sarvis. He wants you to be an asset for the Forsaken, and knows the best way to do that is through combat. He wants you to put down wretched ghouls and rattle-cage skeletons in the abandoned part of town, as they will make for perfect training kills. It should also be noted that the undead here are under the Scourge's command, undead minions who are mindless slaves to the Lich King, and do not have free will such as you and others who follow Lady Sylvanas. This is going to be an extremely important element, as is one of the key factors that defines your entire storyline as a Forsaken. Then return to Shadow Priest Sarvis, who will congratulate you and say you have accomplished much, and he will be moving you on soon. He will direct you to his novice, Elrith, who is standing next to him. She will give you a few tasks where you can apply some of the new abilities that you've been training. Speaking to Novice Elrith will give you the quest The Truth of the Grave, where she explains that she saw a young woman run by screaming for her family earlier today. This is where she'll ask you to track down Lillian Voss again, and this time show her a mirror that will let her see her own reflection. Then upon seeing her own face, she's still in denial and runs off like a little brat. You chase her down upstairs and show her again. But even after the second time, she still is not accepting of her fate, and the only thing you can do now is return to Novice Elrith and inform her of Lillian's fate. She'll explain to you that as long as Lillian maintains free will, there will always be hope for her to join the Forsaken. But on to other matters. Your next quest will be to report to Executor Aran, as you have proven yourself to be the fighting type and can assist more in the field than you can in the town. Meet up with Aran, he'll take a good look at you up and down and says that you're just a plain mess. He wants to outfit you with some new armor, but will need you to go gather wolf paws and bat wings out in the woods from the west of town. And do keep in mind, just in true Warcraft fashion, even though duskbats have 2 wings and wolves have 4 paws, it's going to take you a long freaking time to gather 4 and 4 of each, because reasons? Animals just don't have working paws or wings. Regardless, return to Executor when you have the ingredients that you need. Return with the minged animal parts and Aran will give you a shiny new belt and some encouraging words. Hopefully you'll last longer than its previous owner. Gee, thanks boss! Nightweb's Hollow is the next quest you're on. Aran will explain that the current blight being in Deathnell, there is a gold shortage throughout Old Lordaeron after the Third War depleted many of the land's resources. Deathnell does have an active gold mine, however it is currently overrun by spiders and Deathguard have no spare troops to send their way. And that's exactly what you're here for. Head to the mine northwest and kill the ugly Shelops for him. Once you have fought all the spiders and clear out the mine, return to Aran. You are rewarded with another piece of armor and he will thank you for starting the process of clearing the mine, even though apparently it will take weeks to clear it, so you literally just killed everything inside it, for nothing, but oh well. Your next quest is somewhat of an urgent one. While you were clearing the gold mine, your good pal Darnell came along and informed Executor Aran that a good number of newly risen undead have decided to not follow Sylvanas, and instead have been gathering on the outskirts of town to plan an assault on Deathnell itself. He will send you down the road to meet with Darnell and find a solution to this problem. You find Darnell outside the rebels' camp, saying that the battle has already begun. Darnell will tell you that he's been watching the newly risen undead and their leader, Marshal Redpath, for a while. They have been labeled as rot brains due to their unwillingness to follow Sylvanas with their free will. Darnell acknowledges that you are a better fighter than he is, and wants you to slay 8 of these rot brains and Redpath himself to stop the assault. And here's where one of the first controversies I see as being Forsaken really comes in. All newly risen undead are given free will, as they no longer are bound by the Lich King's will. However, if you don't make the right decision to follow the Dark Lady, then you are deemed a lesser undead and the Forsaken will come to slaughter you. Isn't that essentially taking away the choice of free will? Isn't it kind of the same thing that the Lich King was doing? Oh well, we're just going to gloss over this. Although I have a very strong feeling that we might see this again in Silverpine questline, but we're going to put it off until we reach that zone. It's been done, and the Rotbrain have been slain. You bring your report back to Shadow Priest Sarvis in town. She tries to justify these actions by saying being resurrected comes with a heavy strain, and some go crazy or just have shock. Which is true, but I still have a problem with blatantly murdering undead for not choosing the path of the Forsaken. At any rate, she gives you your final quest, which will be Vital Intelligence, which is to deliver your findings to Field Agent Simmer outside of Deathnell, who is gathering information on the Forsaken's most zealous enemy, the Scarlet Crusade. Oh, and apparently Darnell got promoted to Deathguard, so hopefully he can live a happy life here in Deathnell. He wishes you good luck on your journey and sends you on your way outside of the town. But that will be it for the introduction into the Forsaken and all the quests in Deathnell. The Undead Starting Zone is one of the more enjoyable zones, and the Forsaken have a ton of lore surrounding them, so I hope this was enlightening on how your journey begins as an Undead. Our next journey will take us into the Terrestrial Glades and the haunting town of Brill, where the true adventure awaits. But that will be it for the quest lore of Deathnell. I so appreciate the support and watching this video all the way through. I hope to be putting out a lore video once a week for every zone from a Horde and Alliance perspective. Being my first video, please leave a comment down below if you like the style or if there's anything else you'd like to see from this channel. Feel free to hit that subscribe button and the bell to be notified when my next video releases. Everyone have a great day, and I'll catch you all on the flip side.